I quit my job making 300K at Google, and then I moved to Florida. Now I make $0. I've been working at Google for over 5 years. Before I joined Google, it was my dream job. I never really thought that I would work there. Senior year of college, I declined my only offer that I had from an internship. I had nowhere to go. And then all of a sudden, Google Recruiter reached out to me and I was like, hey, we have some roles we think you'd be good for. And I was like, okay. I got the Google offer after all the interviews. And I was in an interesting spot because I wasn't the best student in school. If I would have failed or withdrawn from any more classes, I would have been kicked out of my computer science program and not have gotten an offer from Google. My offer was contingent on me graduating. And just to clarify, I did not have enough time really to interview at this point. This Google offer was kind of just like dropped on my lap. It worked out really well. The interview process was very quick. I had some of my hardest classes that semester and I just had to lock in. And then I did. I did lock in. I graduated. I succeeded the terms of my Google offer. So I was able to get the job. I started remote, the onboarding program that I was a part of. I decided to take my offer from the first team that gave me one. It was kind of boring. The team people were fine, but it was remote, so it's not like I could get very close to them. And it was all AI. I actually wanted to do AI, but I wanted to do AI research, creating new types of neural networks, working on new types of ways to make neural networks work better. I was following when GPT-1 first came out. I thought it was cool. Unfortunately, I didn't really like my role. After being there for a year, I was allowed to swap teams, and that's what I did. As soon as the year mark hit, I swapped teams. So I switched over to an app development team. And this was my bread and butter. I've been working on apps and websites and like some sort of user interface. I've always done things that people have interacted with. The app that I was working on was used by hundreds of millions of people. It was kind of growing a lot as I joined. It was great. Over the course of really enjoyed it. I felt like my manager was great. There was a project that I thought was really interesting. I was given some leeway to do it a lot of the time. It was an amazing time being at Google. But after that first wave of layoffs that Google had, I felt like everything changed. Everyone was kind of just scared. Is this gonna happen again? Are we safe? And then after that, we had a year where we didn't have any layoffs. But during that year, they spent the entire year doing cost-cutting initiatives. Normal travel budget, much less like micro kitchen snacks. Yeah, you're like, okay, you go from a spoiled brat to a less spoiled brat, and now you're complaining. And you're mostly right about that. But the idea here is not just what we had in the moment, but the direction it was going. It was just going down. If it only stopped there, then it would have been fine. But after 1 year, after the first layoffs and doing all those cost-cutting initiatives, they had another wave of layoffs. I was just like anyone else who hadn't been raised in California, where I was like, oh, I don't really want to live in California. I think my life where I'm at isn't that bad. I have good friends here. I have good family around. I kind of have like a place set up, a community that I'm a part of. So I went because of this job, but I always knew I was not going to stay there. There's no way that the cost, that it would actually be 2 times better than the other places that I could have lived in. There came a point where I was talking with some coworkers and my coworkers were like, oh, you're planning on leaving? Well, good luck with that. That's what I used to say. And I'm now here for 8 years or something. And I was like, well, I'm not gonna be that kind of person. I hate when I say something and it doesn't come true. So right there and there in front of my coworkers and my manager, I put an event on my calendar that said, you're moving from California in 2 years. And I told everyone that I'm moving, whether Google lets me or not. At that time, Google was actually okay with remote work. So I was thinking, okay, I'll probably go remote, but I also kind of see the direction things are going and I can tell they're probably gonna get rid of remote work at some point. And very shortly after, they did. And at that point, I was like, okay, then that means I'm gonna have to leave Google. There's no other option because I'm not staying here and I don't want to go to another Google office. I learned from living in San Francisco that I'm not a big city guy. I like being around people. I like being in semi-big cities, but not like New York, Chicago, Seattle, San Francisco level cities. I like more spread out cities. I do like public transit, but in San Francisco, public transit was sketchy, to say the least. I preferred driving over the San Francisco public transit specifically. I didn't feel like I was on edge when I was driving, but I did feel like I was on edge when I was on the public transit there. So 2 years goes by and I'm starting to plan to move. Well, this lease is going to be the last lease, whether Google lets me or not. But I'm gonna try to get Google to let me go remote. If Google lets me go to remote, then I can leave and work and still work at Google, which will be great because I can make pretty good money in a pretty cheap place. If they don't let me go remote, then I'll just quit. And that's what happened. I started putting in the request. Very shortly after, they were told me no remote, but if you want, you can move to the Miami office. And I was like, okay, well, I have family in Miami and I have friends in Miami, so maybe that's not so bad. I said, let's try it. Let's see if I can move to the Miami office. After a while trying to move to the Miami office, I was actually told you cannot move to the Miami office. Sure, there wasn't enough presence on my team there, so you just weren't allowed. You have to be in one of the main Google offices. Okay, then I'm gonna quit. I didn't actually officially put in my 2 weeks, but everyone knew that I was gonna leave. And then my organization was like, we're letting you do voluntary exit, which in other words is like, you can sign up to be laid off. You can sign up to get severance. This is perfect. I was actually for the last 2 years telling everyone, I really hope they lay me off. And I was like, this is it. This is what I've been asking for. And it's coming at exactly the right time. It's not even like I had to stay working for a month longer or like leave a month early. It was exactly the right time to go. It couldn't have been better. So I moved from San Francisco to Florida. What am I doing here? What's going on? I don't have a job, I don't have any income. All the money I have now is all the money I'm gonna have until I start making money, which may be 2 years. I had 2 things I wanted to do. One thing, I wanted to work on this YouTube channel. Been kind of thinking about doing this YouTube channel. I uploaded a video about a year ago about me running with the Bulls of Spain. You can make sure to watch that. It was a pretty cool video. I'm probably gonna edit it down because it's kind of long. And at the time I was like, I want to do YouTube. There's so many YouTubers that I really, really enjoy their content and I really think it would be fun to do the things they do. And that's what I want. I want this content to be me doing things that are fun. I'm probably gonna be more engineering focused, more tech focused. That's what I'm into. That's why I picked my job as software engineer. I like programming, I like technology, I like hearing about the advancement of technology. Part of it is I wanna make projects, I wanna learn modeling, I wanna be able to make my own parts, I wanna be able to make cool things. And that's the goal of the channel. I'm gonna make cool things, I'm gonna talk about cool things. Another thing that I'm doing after leaving Google is I actually want to start my own business. I sat down the first 2 weeks that I started working to see like what it is that I can feasibly do. I don't like startup culture. I don't want to just go through millions of rounds of investment with barely an idea just to like kind of have some investor breathing down my neck. I'm like, make sure you do it this way, make sure you do it that way. I wanted to make sure I had an idea that did not need crazy investment. I'm not saying I'm never gonna need investment. When I have some money saved up, I can invest in myself. And that's what I'm doing. I'm not gonna reveal what the idea is yet. I will reveal it in later videos, and that's my goal. I'm gonna be doing all this full time, more than full time. I'm gonna be doing this every day of the week. I have 2 days of the week that I'm 100% dedicated to YouTube. Now, of course, these projects, like I said, they are going to be mostly engineering focused, but I'm not going to be limited to that. Sometimes I like doing workouts. Sometimes I like doing trips. Sometimes I like learning new skills that aren't engineering related. My goal is to just explain that I really don't know anything. When I'm going into these projects, I have never done anything like this before. And I just want to learn something new. Everything that I'm going to be doing, whether I'm going to be talking about something new, where I'm going to be creating something new, whether I'm going to be just learning a skill, it's all going to be subjects that I'm not familiar with. I'm not going to be an expert on these subjects, but my goal is just to learn and then talk about what I learned in an interesting way. I hope you enjoy it. Please subscribe, like, comment. I have a goal of making this channel grow to 1 million subscribers in the next year. I don't know if that's going to be possible. That's my goal. We're going to try our hardest to make the coolest videos that we can make.